Sawasdee and welcome to Be My Guest, the program which brings you successful stories of entrepreneurs and organizations in both domestic and international arenas. I'm Sarosha Ratanapian. And the latest king, Bhumibol Adulyadej, the longest reigning monarch in Thailand, was a challenger for knowledge, views and activity, namely innovation, photography, art and music and also sports. And he was renowned for one reason, the father of Thai innovation. So in this episode of the program, we commemorate the late king's benevolence in encouraging different innovative ideas to improve the quality of lives of his subjects. An opportunity with Dr. Panat Chairat, the Director of National Innovation Agency of Thailand. Swadika. So first of all, could you introduce yourself a bit to our fans and be my guest?
My name is Panat Chairat. I am Director of National Innovation Agencies. This agency is public organizations under Ministry of Science and Technologies. We mainly support private sectors to develop innovation project and also leverage their capabilities to mastering innovation in particular.
I see. Talking about the objectives of NIA, so what are they?
We mainly try to enhance national innovation system, which comprise of many key stakeholders. For examples, private sectors, universities, governmental agencies, and lastly, community as a whole, try to bridge between demand side and supply side of innovation, so that Thailand could leverage innovativeness in the international level.
Okay, so that means by having NIA, so innovation is really essential in 21st century.
Yes, and particularly when you're talking about innovation, it's not particularly focused on so-called innovation for economic exploitations, but also for social goods as well.
Okay, so that means innovation can be divided into different aspects here. So for the innovation that NIA is focusing, so could you elaborate more on what type of innovation you're talking about?
In the past up to present, we mainly focus on innovation that's private sectors, SMEs or startup or medium-sized firm develops. It's mainly about product and process innovations. But at the same time, we emphasize more on social and sustainable innovation as well.
Okay, social and sustainable innovation. So firstly, we'll start with the SME innovation or innovation for businesses. So what type of innovation that SMEs needs to focus on?
At this moment, they mainly focus on innovation that can enhance their productivities. So either they develop their own process innovation through technological innovations, or they're trying to develop their product to be more innovative, so that they can penetrate into not only domestic but also international market as well. So in that sense, you can see that mainly they focus on productivities. Why there are more and more so-called non-manufacturing innovations happen in the countries. For the past decades, there are quite a few numbers of service sectors that they are going to have more and more so-called innovation-related activities, particularly from financial sectors or even hospitality sector, so-called tourism. So in that sense, they are intangible innovation. You cannot touch it, but you can feel it. So that is not about value-added innovation, it's about value creation.
Okay, and as Tehran right now, we are encountering the expansion of tourism industry. So we are accommodating a large number of tourists in Thailand here. So how service innovation is essential in accommodating the larger expansion of tourism industry?
This is very challenging for science and technologies to so-called embed it into so-called service-oriented in industries, because for the past 4 or 5 decades, Thailand has been focused on manufacturing sectors, we have attract so-called a lot of foreign direct investment for quite some years, mainly from Japan and US or even Europe. So hospitality has been incorporated with so-called manufacturing because of business. But while we have a lot of so-called cultural heritage, we have a lot of so-called cultural DNA among Thai people or even food, you can see that agriculture and service will be the next big things for Thailand. So that we are going to move from so-called agro-industrializing economies towards so-called agricultural service economies.
I see.
In that sense, you can see that high-value innovations will move towards service economy, particularly for value creation for creative industries, or even from new ways of so-called living in the cities.
Okay. And apart from NIA's who roles in pushing forward and also encourages business or private sector in Thailand, you are also mention a term which is societal innovation and also sustainable innovation as well. So what are they?
When we're talking about so-called innovation beyond firms level, it's particularly focused on cities. City as a new factories, city as a new playground for so-called innovators. A lot of innovation that support mobilities, support land utilization, support your so-called 24-hour and 7 days activities. It's mainly happen in cities. So in that sense, innovation is not only particularly for so-called researchers, inventors anymore. It's all about people who live in the cities and they comes up with very robust thinkerings or even creative ideas and they can implement it in the city.
Okay, so that means public participation is essential in this decade of societal innovation then. Okay, when we mention innovation, we cannot deny that our latest Majesty the King Bhumibol Adulyadej has been renowned as the Thai father of innovation. So how his innovation has been implicated in societal innovation here?
I think it's being accepted worldwide that His Majesty the King has been contribute to so-called water management and also rural area development for the whole life of His Majesty. One of his initiatives mainly is on about how he can solve problems of soil acidification. So in that sense, I think this is why we comes up with the idea that His Majesty is the only the monarch in the world that has dedication of his life and work on technologies and innovation, but innovations for sustainable development, innovation for society development.
Okay.
That's why in 5th of October 1992, His Majesty visited one of his projects in Narathiwat, in the Phikuntong project area, so that we can so-called experience soil acidification problem solving, so-called Klangdins or tricking the soil project become realized.
Okay, so for the project which is called tricking the soil or Klangdin, in Thai. So what was the problem, that agriculturists encountered at that moment?
In the past, agrarian lands always faced with at least two problems. One, water. Another is about soil qualities. So soil acidity is one of the problems on soil qualities for agricultural implication. So His Majesty the King's initiative is on how we can so-called revitalize agrarian land so that farmers could have so-called high quality soil again.
Okay.
That's why we asked the royal household to have every 5th of October every year to be a National Innovation Day.
Okay.
And we all know that His Majesty the King already been accepted and recognized as fathers of innovations on that day, and also on the 19th of October it is National Technology Days. So His Majesty the King is the fathers of technology as well.
Okay, so he's the only monarch, as you mentioned, okay, as a Thai father of Thai innovation here. And for the project of Klangdin, so it can be also applied to other provinces as well, not only in Narathiwat province.
Yes.
However, for now it's time for a short break. We'll right back to learn more of His late Majesty the King's other projects and also his benevolence to Thai society and also the NIA Innovation Award 2016 as well. So please stay tuned and be my guest.